Hello, you guys, and thank you once again for tuning in to Real News Talk Show. I am your Real News host. Okay, my topic today is about Alex Trebek and regarding his cancer remission, and also when he came out with it, and he was very, very positive about it. Alex Trebek, he said that he's coming to the end of his life because of his cancer complications. And in September, he was in remission, remember, because he came out in March and he revealed it September the 4th. And he's been on the show, Jeopardy, since 1984. That is a die-hard battery. That man is so awesome. He is so nice. And I had an encounter with him, and I'm going to mention that to you, where I actually met him in person. Alex Trebek said he was at the end of his road, and he told CTV News on Friday that he may need to leave before the contract ends. Well, I'm quite sure they should understand that he can't continue to work under the conditions, and especially doing chemotherapy, because I lost a sister to cancer, and I was there with her all the way from the beginning to the end of her taking the chemo. And actually, the cancer didn't kill her at all. It was the chemo, because the chemo starts to kill off everything in your body. And he said, but he'll stay at the show as long as he can, because he is not a quitter, as we all know. But he said that his skills are diminishing. His skills are diminishing because of the fact, Alex Trebek is a very perfect person to me. I mean, he pretty much is damn near perfect. He has a very warm personality. He has a good energy, a good spirit. He's down to earth no matter how much money he has. And he showed his longevity by being on that show. As long as he was on that show, that tells everyone the type of person that he really is. I'm going to say that he is. In March, he did reveal it, and he was very open. He was not hiding anything. He came out to the public. He's a very honest person, and he told everyone when he didn't have to. There are many people that have cancer, and before you know it, they're gone, but they never told anyone. All of a sudden, they just was gone. One good thing about him, he wasn't hiding anything from his audience, from his people. He let the world know that this is what it is. It is what it is, and he is putting up a very good fight. More power to you, Alex Trebek. I really, really admire the man. And he's been in treatments, and he's 79 years old. So like he said, he has had a good life. My sister was only 70, so he did like 9 years. He lived 9 years longer than her. She was only 70 years old. Matter of fact, she had just made her 70th birthday. And so, but he was saying that the chemotherapy had caused sores in his mouth, and that the audience probably noticed it, but he didn't. He noticed that they didn't say anything to him about it. They didn't say anything about, oh, you have sores, or mention it to anybody. Nobody even thought about it. They were so happy to see Alex, Trebek, doing his thing. Nobody, really tried to make him feel bad or pay any attention to his sores at all in his mouth. A lot of people have sores and they don't even have cancer. They have blisters on their mouth. They have herpes around their mouth. And so people just know that he has the cancer because he came out and let everybody know. So if anybody felt anything otherwise about him, then shame on them, because it is what it is, and he's not hiding anything from anybody. And so he said that his numbers went down. Of course, that would be a normal situation of anybody that has cancer and they are doing a TV show, or they're performing on their job, or whatever their profession is. If they are under chemotherapy, you can put your bottom dollar on it that the numbers are going to go down, because they're not at their best as they was prior to having the illness, the disease. That makes people weak, and they can't think, because the medications are really taken away from them, causing more things to happen to shut down the body. And that's that chemo. I recall my sister had cancer. She had ovarian cancer, though, but cancer is cancer. And I recall her saying, I don't want no chemo. She says, I don't want no chemo, sister. I don't want no chemo. And I said, oh, no, you got to get it. You got to get it because it's going to prolong your life. And so she did it, and she was in remission like Trebek, Alice Trebek. She was in remission. But actually, she was in remission for 5 years. And the reason she was in remission for 5 years because of the fact she caught it, like I think it was the third stage, second, third, going into the third stage. So they gave her a little more time with the cancer. And so it went into remission. And all of a sudden, after that 5th year, the cancer returned. The cancer returned. That cancer it's bad. They got to find something that can cure this stuff. It is really taking out good people. Because, you know, Alice Trebek, his heart was good. I mean, that man has a good heart. I'm going to stop saying was. His heart is good. And he is really something to see on TV. He knows his business. He's very professional at all times. And I even watch some of the commercials he comes on. I like his commercials too. But let me tell you a little bit my personal encounter with Alex Trebek, you guys. Alex Trebek, as everybody knows, is the host of Jeopardy. And so one time I went to Los Angeles, and actually it was right after that Harvey situation. And so me and a friend, we went to LA, and we actually wanted to meet him in person. And you know how you have to put in for it? You have to put in for a show. If you want to sit in on the show, you can't just be popping up there at the studio, because you're not going to even get in the gates. You know, you got to go through, you know, you got to go through the rules and regulations to even get through that gate, through security, to go in and actually sit in his studio to meet him. So actually, I was like, oh, I got to meet him. I got to meet him. He's such a nice person on TV, and I wonder if he is that nice in person. And you guys, so because of the Hurricane Harvey, so when we called the people and told them that we were in town from Houston, Texas, and that we did production work and we were actors and producers, and that we wanted to actually get in to the show. And they were like, well, you know, you can't just pop up here like that, because, you know, this is big. This is not like you have to put in for seating arrangements, this, that, and the other. And we have so many people. And so when we told them that we're from Houston and Hurricane Harvey had hit and everything, and we just wanted to, you know, do something to just relax and come to the show and actually to be on the set of Jeopardy. So they got back to us. I don't know if they talked to him or his people. We got in. And so when we got in, the producers, they said, sit them on the front row. And my God. So we sat right in the front, you know, closer than anyone else. And we were sitting with all the other producers of his show. And so they were all talking to us and stuff. And so we were very excited. And so for the break time, someone told him about us coming from Houston because of the Harvey situation. And you know what, you guys? He actually came down to where we were sitting. It was like a little bar that separates you from the actual floor of the stage that he stands on, and met us personally. He was so nice, and he was like, oh, you're from Houston, and he was just so warm. He said, well, I'm really happy that you guys came to my show, and we talked a little bit about different various things. And I mean, he spent some moments, some special moments that I will never forget. And so I have a picture of him and his producers. I don't have it with me today, but I want to tell anyone that's watching this video right now about Alex Trebek. He was such a warm person, and I feel good about meeting him personally. And if he's watching this, he probably remember, because we came from Houston, and it was right after the Hurricane Harvey. So maybe he felt sorry sorry for us. I don't know what it was, but I can't say that he felt sorry for us. I can say that he's just a really wonderful person to even spend that time. I mean, you know how many people was in that show, and for him to have them sit us right in the front, his producers. I don't know if he knew anything about it. All I know is he came to us when we said we was from Houston, Texas, and from the Hurricane Harvey had hit. He actually came and sat right there. I mean, came and stood right there in front of us and talked to us for a couple of minutes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He didn't have to do that. He really didn't. And so I felt so warm about him. And even his producers, everybody was really nice. And we were telling them, about Houston and how Houston was and how there's no production here, production companies and that, we were into production and acting. But in Houston, it's just not anything for us. You would have to be in LA, or you would have to be in Atlanta, LA, New York, or somewhere like that, because a lot of the producers now, they don't want to fly you. But I remember when I did my first commercial in Australia, they flew me there, So back then I was getting flown, to do my work as an actress. I was getting flown everywhere right from Houston, Texas. And so, but now they don't do that. They'd rather you be in the place, because I guess it saves them a lot of money, because if producers are flying actresses all around, that's money that can be saved into the production work, or also into paying the actresses. So so I was just telling him about that, and he was like, LA is where the place to be. And he was really, really nice. And you know what, you guys, he even cuts his own yard and stuff. He is so down to earth. He didn't let his money go to his head like most people. He already knows that God created that money and heaven and earth, and he's not he didn't let the money override his mind. That's why he stayed grounded, and he kept his family, together, and his home, and he do his own yard. He likes his own stuff to look neat. You see how neat he looks on TV? That's just the way Alex Trebek is in person. When I met him at Jeopardy, I even have some pictures. I'll probably bring them out later, where I was at Jeopardy. And when you walk in, they have this big Jeopardy sign, and it had like $200,000 or $300,000 behind me. So I sent the picture back to Houston, so everyone thought I was on Jeopardy. Everyone thought I was on Jeopardy and that I had won $200,000. So I do have that picture. One day I'm gonna share it with you guys. But yeah, again, Alex Trebek, my prayers go out to him, and I know he'll be one of those angels in heaven that's up there with my sister, my mother, my father, my two brothers. All of those people are in heaven, but only one of them out of my family died with that cancer. And it is the chemo is what gives you the complications, mainly that chemo. And so my sister she was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to take no chemo, Josie. I just don't want to do it. I don't want anymore. And so it just killed her every time, because it took her a long time. She said it took her about a week to even come around from it getting out of your system. And it made her not want to eat at all. She said it tastes like you're eating gasoline. She says, can you imagine? And I said, you gotta eat, sister, you gotta eat. I say, Nancy, you have to eat. Her name was Nancy. Nancy, you have to eat to survive. She says, you cannot eat when something is tasting like acid and gas. You don't want it. So you guess what, you guys? You know what? What actually killed my sister was not the cancer. It was the chemo, and it caused her to have a bowel obstruction. And she could not have the bowel obstruction surgery because of the fact that the chemo had made her so weak, until if they would have operated on her, she probably would have passed before. So it bought her a little time for her family members to be with her. And I was with her every step of the way. So I know what he's going through because I actually lived it with my sister every day. Every day. I lived it with her day in and day out. She was in pain, lots of pain. Another thing, my sister didn't even want any pain medication because my sister never got high on drugs. She never took any drugs. She never smoked cigarettes. She never smoked weed. She never was a worldly person. She was married for 53 years from the age of 17 all the way up until she died at 70 with the same husband. She was just a straight, square-laced woman. And she said that that morphine or pain medication made her feel crazy. It's because she never had anything. So guess what? I had to see her suffer in pain. And her husband, I think, had to probably sneak some medicine in her, food, because she just wouldn't take it. And that chemo, she said, was something else. So I can imagine what Alex Trebek is going through. And my prayers go out to him and his family because it was nothing nice at all. That cancer, they need to find something quick because it is wiping out a lot of people. And sometimes I feel like it wipes out the good people, But like he said, he's lived a good life. And he's made his money, and he probably traveled and did everything he needed to do. And he was almost 80, so he did a good job. He did a good job, and I can say Alex Trebek was one of the people that I actually really, really felt heartwarming feeling about. One of the TV personalities. He was one of my favorites. And I don't know if it's because I met him in person and we talked in person. I had personal contact with him. I just don't know what it is about Alex Trebek. It is something about his spirit. And he's very cool and mellow, He's not all hyped up. He's like, how most people in LA are like, and all my girlfriends, everybody's like, hey, party over here, party over there, party everywhere. But Alex Trebek, he's real cool. He's calm. He's collected. He's laid back. And I just love him. So yeah, in September, its cancer was in remission, you guys. And so on CTV News Friday, he said he may have to leave before the contract ends because of the complications. But as long as his skills will allow him to stay, he will. And he will. He's been there for 30-some years and never missed a day pretty much. Oh my God. That tells you a lot about the person. My God. So let's just keep prayers out. And I just wanted to bring that to you. My experience with Alex Trebek, it was a great one. It was a positive one. It was one what you see on TV. It was one what you see. It's one what the world see. And everybody pretty much says that about him, how nice he is. And I really did. I really did feel good about meeting him. And yeah, so that was it with him. And he came down and he actually took his time to talk to me. Oh my God. So Alex Trebek, my prayers go out to you, and I hope that if you see this video, you will remember because we came from Houston, Texas, and we told you about Hurricane Harvey and about the production work we did. So we were sitting in the front with your producers. Alrighty, and I'll bring you guys more update and possibly show you the pictures that I have of Alex Trebek and his producers, and also me in the studio there on the set. They're at the show, and showing me going into Jeopardy. Okay, you guys, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget, I forgot to tell you guys, click like, share, and subscribe so that I can come back with more commentary on the Real News Talk. This is Real News Talk Show. Thank you. Bye. Pray for Alex Trebek.